Pregame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Jackson swings, hits it in the air, deep to right field. He has done it again. Unbelievable.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Shildt.
Ultimately, what we're here to do is win.
From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today, the Padres take on the San Francisco Giants in the first game of a 4-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today: on the mound for the Giants, right-hander Logan Webb, and for the Padres, right-hander Stephen Kolek. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at Oracle Park in San Francisco at 6:45. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We'll get the latest on Gavin Sheets after he had that scary collision into the left field fence yesterday. We check in with Bob Scanlan in just a little bit. Our keys to the game, a full breakdown of today's pitching matchup, and much, much more to come. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations: La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres entered today 33-24. Padres have won 3 consecutive series, 2 out of 3 against the Braves, Marlins, and Giants, Braves, Marlins, and Pirates, rather. The Padres entered today in second place in the National League West, 2 games out of first place behind the LA Dodgers. Meanwhile, the Giants entered today 33-26. They set a game behind the Padres in third place. Giants returning home after going 4-5 on a 9-game road trip to Washington, D.C., Detroit, and Miami. Well, before we turn our full attention to this series and this road trip, the Padres played the final game of their series against the Pirates yesterday at Petco Park. Let's take a quick look back.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Yesterday in downtown San Diego, Manny Machado put the Padres ahead in the first inning.
And Machado swings, hits it in the air, deep to left field. Tommy Pham is back. He's going to watch. It's going to go. Off the line score. He broke the scoreboard in left. And Manny, with his 349th career home run, gives the Padres a 1-0 lead here in the first.
They still led 1-0 going to the top of the third. Vasquez issued a 1-out walk to O'Neill Cruz. That brought up Andrew McCutchen.
Vasquez deals, and that one's hit in the air, deep to left field. Sheets is back. He looks. It's going to go. Andrew McCutchen is homered for a second consecutive day. That is his 240th as a Pittsburgh Pirate, tying Roberto Clemente for third most in franchise history. Pirates now lead it 2-1.
A 2-1 Pirates lead. They would extend that lead to 4-1 as the Padres still trailed 4-1 going to the 6th inning. There was a runner on base for Jackson Merrill.
Heaney's first pitch lined over the head of the first baseman Horwitz. That's a fair ball into the right field corner. Arise has scored. Jackson stinking 3. He will pull up at second, though, with an RBI double. Padres with their second run of the day, and now a 4-2 game here in the 6th.
Padres trailed 4-2 going to the 7th inning. Elias Diaz made it a 1-run affair.
The pitch from Rainey is hit off the mound up the middle into center field and a base hit. Bogarts is being waved. O'Neill Cruz's throw will go towards third. An RBI single in the pinch for Elias Diaz, and this is a 1-run game in the bottom of the 7th.
Later in the inning, the bases were loaded for Luis Arise.
And Arise swings, hits it on a line the other way into left field and a base hit. Iglesias will come in to tie the game. An RBI single for Luis Arise. And it's 4-4 here in the 7th.
Manny Machado gave the Padres lead with a sac fly. Padres scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning. They took a 6-4 lead. Robert Suarez came on for the save chance in the 9th.
3-2 now. The pitch to Cruz taken right down the middle. Strike 3 called. A 1-2-3 top of the 9th inning as Robert Suarez slams the door in this comeback win for the Padres. They take 2 out of 3 from the Pirates and finish the homestand 4-2 thanks to a 6-4 comeback win here this afternoon.
Padres winning a third consecutive series. The Padres bullpen also very, very good in that game. 5 2/3 scoreless innings combined for the Padres pen yesterday, in a nice way for the Padres to end a 6-game homestand, and now they hit the road for 7 games, beginning with this series opener here today. As we get ready for this one, first pitch coming up at 6:45. Let's go to the Bay.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Bob Scanlan in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
We go up to San Francisco. We're joined by Bob Scanlan as we get ready for this series opener, first of 4 against the San Francisco Giants. And Scan, let's start with a look at our starting pitching matchup today. Right-hander Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants. And Webb is somebody that the Padres and you have seen a lot of over the years, Scans. Obviously, sinker always a key for Logan Webb. When he's going right, gets a ton of ground balls. When Webb is at his best, Scans, what makes him so effective? What does he do so well?
Yeah, you already said it, Sam. He's down in the zone with that good sinker. He's got the changeup to complement it as well. And, he loads up the strike zone. That's not a guy that makes a lot of mistakes. He's tough. He's tough. The good news is the Padres have had some pretty good success. When you look at the batting averages over lifetime against some of these guys, it wasn't just that last outing. I mean, his roughest outing of the year so far has been against the Padres where they tagged a 5 spot on him. But the key thing you got to do, you have to try to get to him early, because as he gets settled in and gets the feel for that sinker and that changeup that we were just talking about, and the sweeper as well, look out. He's tough. But the Padres were able to get to him early. And as I was just saying, it's not a case of, that was one game where the Padres took advantage of him. No, when you look at the career stats of the Padre hitters versus Logan Webb, they've had some pretty good success. So hopefully they can do it again tonight.
Yeah, hopefully they can. On the other side of this pitching matchup, right-hander Stephen Kolek on the mound for San Diego. He had a pretty fascinating last start against the Marlins, gave up 6 runs in the first inning, but then he really settled in a game the Padres came back to win. Looking at these 5 starts in the major leagues this season for Stephen Kolek, Scans, what stands out?
We a couple of things. First of all, anybody that throws a complete game shutout in Colorado, I don't care what lineup you're facing, that shows you that you know how you can pitch a little bit. And he did it by using his 4-seam fastball, which I thought was nice because he relies so much on the sinker normally and the slider, but he really used that 4-seam fastball effectively in that game, and I think he gained more confidence in it. So all of a sudden, he's got multiple weapons that he can go to. Second of all, as a starter, his slider has been better, and that's because of the work that he did with Ruben Niebla during the offseason in terms of improving his mechanics. So all of a sudden he's got a better breaking pitch that he can go to as well. And the final thing, and I think we really saw this in the last outing, Sam, is his toughness. I mean, anytime you give up 6 runs in the first inning and 7 of the 8 hits that you give up are ground balls that get through, right? I mean, that's not all your fault. I mean, that's some bad luck, but you also have to make quality pitches with 2 strikes. But regardless of that, you give up 6. It's so easy to just mentally give up. And he didn't do that. The next thing you know, he's getting past the 5th inning and giving the Padres a chance to win that ball game and then come back and win it. And a lot of it has to do because of Stephen Kolek settling down and just saying, okay, that was a bad inning, and I'm going to just buckle down and get outs here. And that's what he did. And it saved the bullpen. It got the Padres an important win. And I think it really proved to him that, toughness does matter. And no matter what happened the previous inning, you got to put it behind you and go right back at him. And he proved that last time. And hey, you can't teach that all the time, Sam. That's something that guys either have or they don't. He proved that he has it.
Is it possible for Kolek, because I agree with you, he's done a really nice job, even when he gives up runs, is not at not allowing the game, the innings to unravel, as weird as that sounds with giving up 6 runs early, but you have to look at that outing against the Marlins really as a whole to really understand the importance of it. Is that something that maybe is a result of him pitching in the major leagues last year, getting a little bit of experience before he became a starter, kind of getting his feet wet before and maybe going through some of the struggles he did last year?
Yeah, that's an interesting point, Sam. And I don't think that you can ignore it, I guess, is what I want to say. And honestly, we talked about this a little bit with the Pirates yesterday. They brought up their young guy, and we saw him work out of the bullpen, a young pitcher that's going to eventually be in the starting rotation. And, Jesse and I sort of talked about it in terms of This used to be the way that you would break future starters into the big leagues. You brought them into the bullpen, not necessarily in short situations like Stephen Kolek did all last year, but to your point, you get your feet wet. You learn how to face big league hitters. You learn how to deal with situations. You go through your lumps and your bumps. It's going to happen, and you figure out how to deal with it, how to keep the damage to a minimum, how to come back out the next inning and repost some zeros and reestablish yourself. So I think he went through all of those things last year, to your point, which I think is helping him now. He's getting the opportunity to start. There's nothing that he's going to experience as a starter that he didn't face working out of the bullpen last year as a Rule 5 guy. And hopefully it pays off for him in the long run.
Well, Steven, anytime you talk to him inside the Padres clubhouse, very level-headed, certainly has a good head on his shoulders, has a big start here tonight against Logan Webb as the Padres begin this 7-game road trip. Scans, as always, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you and Tony Gwynn Jr. coming up at 6:35 for this one. As always, thanks so much.
Sounds good. Thanks, Sam.
All right, that's Bob Scanlan joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network. Again, first pitch coming up at 6:45 for Game 1 of this 4-game series between the Padres and the San Francisco Giants. Remember, the Padres swept a 2-game set against the Giants in San Diego in late April. The Giants batted just 185 with 7 runs scored and 26 strikeouts in those 2 games. And we'll get into it a little bit later, but this Giants offense is not swinging the bat well right now collectively. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. This also begins a stretch where the Padres play a lot of games against divisional opponents. Padres playing just their 9th game against the National League West opponent this season here tonight. But this starts a stretch where the Padres will play NL West opponents in 14 of their next 17 games, 4 against the Giants, 7 against the LA Dodgers, and 3 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So we've talked a lot about how tough this stretch is. Padres in the midst at the very early part of this 26-game in 27-day stretch, and now it becomes not only a really tough stretch with 26 and 27, but also a ton of divisional games coming up, beginning with this game here tonight against the Giants. As always, if you want to get involved on our pregame coverage, you can do that in a number of different ways. You can find me on X at Sammy Lev, SammyLev. Instagram DMs open as well. Sammy Lev there too. If you want to find me on TikTok, send me a message there. You can do it at Sammy Levitt, SammyLevitt. Or you can also comment on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube page on our YouTube stream. Let me know, what is your key to today's game? Or if you just want to say hi, let me know who you are, where you're tuned in from. You can do that, and we may just give you a shout out here on the air a little bit later on. When we come back, we hear from Padres man Shildt. First pitch coming up at 6:45 in the Bay in San Francisco. More after this on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Little Spice Girls for you on a Monday as we get ready for today's game. First pitch coming up at 6:45 between the Padres and the San Francisco Giants. Game one of this 4-game series in this 7-game road trip. Padres will play 4 games in San Francisco, 3 games in Milwaukee, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Padres have won 3 series in a row, and now they continue what is a very tough stretch of games. A lot of games in about as equal number of days, 26 games in 27 days. That's the stretch the Padres are in the midst of right now. And the Padres also playing some really good teams coming up. Giants come in sitting at 33-26. The Padres at 33-24. Well, Gavin Sheets is not in the lineup today for the Padres. Obviously had a very scary collision yesterday with the left field fence, walked off the field under his own power. Now, I will tell you the good news is that he is available for tonight's game. He spoke inside the clubhouse earlier today. We'll play that for you a little bit later. But Gavin is available for tonight's game. Does not sound like he's going to go on the IL. So everything trending in the right direction for Gavin Sheets. Mike Shildt also spoke about Yu Darvish and Brian Hoeing and a number of other topics earlier today at Oracle Park in San Francisco.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
We talked to Gavin inside. We'd love to hear from you. What's the latest on him, and how's he feeling, what you're hearing, and what's his availability?
Oh, that's a lot. So how's he feeling? I think better than yesterday. I think all things being considered from the impact of yesterday, we're in a, thankfully in a pretty good spot. Head's clear, good night's sleep, wrist, thumb seem to be stable. Hips a little, probably the most sore. We just want to give him a start off and see if he's available off the bench to come help us win a baseball game.
No concern right now about ILs there?
There's not for me. I don't know what he told you.
So,
Yeah. So we're all on the same page.
Okay, good.
Yeah, knocking on wood.
Yeah, no surprises on mine.
Yeah, okay, good.
How about you and his status right now, playing catch and when you might expect him to throw a bullpen?
Talk about him maybe throwing a bullpen today. So we'll see if that ended up taking place or tomorrow. But my understanding was a chance it was taking place today, but I haven't heard either way.
How would it work progression-wise? Should he throw a pen in the next day or two? What would be the next step for him?
Evaluation of the recovery, and then the plan after that, which would probably be another pen.
Ryan Burkett's here.
He is. He's going to start tomorrow. I think that's out. Expectations, Bergie's thrown the ball well, regardless of level, including here. Go out and get after it from the very beginning and go pitch your game.
What about Brian Hoeing? Anything new on him?
We brought Hoeing in. Maybe some of you have seen him. He's doing well. We like to do this. I like the fact that we're doing this more, and this organization does this being that when guys have been on the IL for a period of time, during either before or during their rehabs, we bring them in, touch base with them, see how they're doing. I think it's smart to get them connected with the team again, our staff. So Ho's in today, throwing aside, and then getting with Ruben and Fritzy in the group, and then we'll sit him back out and evaluate from there.
The fact that Ryan came up and did well in a different role, but he found out he could pitch here.
Yes, sir.
And then he went down and pitched well in the intro. That's not like you guys are going, oh, well, we got to pick a guy.
Right.
What does that, you think, do for him, and also how encouraging is that for you guys?
Yeah, all of it's encouraging, and all of it makes this big part of the reason why he's here, because started the season having success, came up here, didn't make it bigger than it was, pitched out a different role in the bullpen, but also pitched well, got a win over Yankee Stadium, which is cool, and then went back down and, took the opportunities from here down to there, worked on his craft, pitched well, and has earned the opportunity to get another start, or to get a start here.
Going back to what you just mentioned about bringing a rehabbing guy in to connect with the team, how did that come about? That's interesting to me. That could probably do a lot for both parties, right? Just to see that person, and maybe for him to feel.
It's definitely the connection part's the biggest one, for all the different things. And, we really, it happened a little bit last year. We're fortunate in the sense that our Arizona and San Diego are close, so those guys can bounce over in an hour. We also have good continuity between all of our groups, Arizona rehab and our AA, AAA clubs when they're rehabbing. But it just looked up and we said, you know what, especially at home, but here being close as well, let's just bounce them over. That makes some sense. Check in on them. They're going to do a side. Why not do it with Ruben in the pitching group? Get to be in like today, first day of a hitters, first day of a series rather. Get acclimated, get your head around being in a pitchers meeting, and just starts that process. See your teammates, know you're connected with the group. I get to spend some time with them. It just makes sense on every level.
You actually receive feedback on it?
Not necessarily to say, oh, that was great, but it just feels right. Like we've done it with 4 or 5 guys this year. Unfortunately, we've had 4 or 5 guys to do it with, but yeah, we've done it, and it's just kept the continuity. But it's also, we can have the correspondence, which we do with all the other parties, but now we get our hands on it and make sure everybody's synced up. And again, it's most important for the player.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt earlier today inside the Padres dugout. We'll hear more from Mike on our post-game coverage coming up later on this evening. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:45 in San Francisco. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
We begin with a look at the hot category. Manny Machado in that category for the Padres had the home run yesterday. His last 9 games batting .324 with an 11.04 OPS. 4 home runs, 2 doubles, 7 RBIs, and 7 runs scored in that span. And the not category, Fernando Tatis Jr. batting just .179 since the beginning of May. Now a span of 27 games and 106 at-bats. Fernando trying to get it going again after such a terrific March and April. So Fernando in the not category, Manny in the hot category, and we'll see how those two guys do for the Padres here today in this series opener. Quick look at the Padres lineup. Again, no Gavin Sheets in the lineup. We'll hear from Gavin a little bit later. Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off in right field. Luis Arraez at first base batting second. Manny Machado, the DH today, batting third. Jackson Merrill in center batting cleanup. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop batting fifth. Jake Cronenworth at second base batting sixth. Tyler Wade in left field batting seventh. Jose Iglesias playing third base tonight batting eighth. And Elias Diaz doing the catching and batting ninth with right-hander Stephen Kolek on the mound against right-hander Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants. Let's take you around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Let's begin with a move the Braves made earlier today. Not a move regarding a player, but a coach. The Braves removing Matt Toyososopo from his third base coaching role. Remember, he was the third base coach on that crazy play against the Padres last weekend when Eli White ran back to second base. Well, he has now been reassigned to a role as a minor league infield coordinator. The Braves' new third base coach is actually their former manager, Freddie Gonzalez. So Freddie Gonzalez rejoins the Braves as their third base coach. It's not every day you see a third base coach mid-season reassigned to a different role in the organization. Guess the Braves felt they had to do it. The Mariners have announced they will retire Randy Johnson's number 51 next season. They made the announcement today on the 35th anniversary of Johnson's first no-hitter in Mariners history. This summer, the Mariners will retire Ichiro's number 51 after his Hall of Fame induction in Cooperstown this summer. So it will be a double retirement of the number across 2 seasons. First Ichiro and then Randy Johnson. The Royals have called up slugger Jack Caglione one of the top prospects in baseball, less than a year after drafting him 6th overall. The Royals are off today, so expect Caglione to make his debut tomorrow in St. Louis. The 22-year-old is crushed pitching at AA and AAA, combining for 15 home runs and 46 RBIs across 50 games this season. He was a two-way star at the University of Florida, and less than a year after being drafted, he will make his major league debut. Orioles have reinstated outfielder Colton Cowser from the 60-day IL. Cowser had been out with a broken left thumb. Tigers activating Parker Meadows from the 60-day IL today. He had been dealing with a nerve issue, and we'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up later. Finally, today is Lou Gehrig Day across Major League Baseball. All players, managers, coaches, and umpires wearing a special number 4 decal on their uniforms. There are many tributes around the game today as Major League Baseball continues to support the movement to end ALS and support organizations that raise funds for ALS research. So a lot of good initiatives around Major League Baseball today on Lou Gehrig Day, and hopefully we find a cure for ALS as soon as possible, a disease that affects so many. That's a look at some headlines from around Major League Baseball today. When we come back, we hear from Gavin Sheets. We get the latest on him. We also have our keys to the game, take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, a full breakdown of today's starting pitching matchup between Stephen Kolek and Logan Webb. Much more to do. First pitch coming up at 6:45 right here on the Padres Radio Network. Hello, my Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 6:45 in San Francisco. We go out to Bob Scanlan and Tony Gwynn Jr. in just about 20 minutes. They'll have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play for game one of this 4-game series. Padres don't have Gavin Sheets in the lineup today after that really hard collision into the left field fence in yesterday's win. Let's hear the latest on Gavin Sheets.
Who's in, who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Well, certainly the Padres appeared to have some concern yesterday about Sheets, any kind of situation like that. Not only are you worried about the body parts, but you're worried about things like concussions and, head injuries, things like that. Gavin Sheets spoke with the media inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Here was Gavin on how he recovered after that big collision.
Went through all the protocol and all the testing. All the testing was good, so I'm really happy about that. No headaches. Sleep went well. That was the big test, was how the flight and how the sleep was going to go. So, all things considered, pretty fortunate.
It looked full speed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall slowing down at all, or did you?
No, I didn't feel like, obviously with Frazier up, I was playing in. It's not really a guy that you're expecting to go backside juice. And so obviously had a lot of room, and I knew it was going to be close whether it got out or not. And I really didn't have time to slow up just because I think he hit right off the top of the wall. So I just kind of went for it.
Never come close. I know there was the one earlier in the year, but something like that.
No, probably not. Definitely available for tonight, which is good. I expect to be right back in.
Left field wasn't a position you played much of before you started playing to help out the team recently. Do you expect to be back out there soon?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'd expect to do whatever they want me to do. Whatever gets me in line up, whatever they need me to do, I'll do. So,
Did you fly up last night or today?
Yeah, I flew up last night with the team. Yeah, just because all the tests and everything was positive. Went through a lot of questions, a lot of questionnaires, so passed all those, which was good. And talked to the doctors again this morning, and everything was good.
So you anticipate being available tonight, which means you weren't expected IL tonight?
Yeah, correct.
So certainly sounds like the best possible news regarding Gavin Sheets. He said he definitely expects to be available for today's game. Again, not in the lineup, but you certainly could see him off the bench at some point today. So very good news on the Gavin Sheets front. And it'll be interesting to see if he continues to go out, play left field. He's really had to do that out of necessity for the Padres. Of course, the talk of the day before this game, well, Dennis Lin in The Athletic reporting the Padres have interest in the Red Sox, Jarren Duran. We'll see what happens with all that. As we know, A.J. Preller, very active at all times of the year. But on the Gavin Sheets front, good news, he will be available for tonight's game off the bench. And that's the latest on Gavin Sheets. First pitch coming up at 6:45. Let's give you our keys to this series opener.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Meet your new Ford General Manager, Greg Ryan, now at El Centro Ford, your new Ford truck, Bronco, and SUV HQ. Call Greg directly at 619-944-0774.
Key number one, don't let the Giants bats wake up at home. The Giants scored just a grand total of 18 runs on their 9-game road trip against the Nationals, Tigers, and Marlins. So that, for those who need me to do the math, that is 2 runs per game, 18 runs in a 9-game road trip. They went just 7 for 57 with runners in scoring position on the trip. That's a 123 batting average on the road trip. Now, you might be wondering, well, how did the Giants get 4 wins on that trip despite their offense struggling so much? Well, their pitching staff gave up just a grand total of 18 runs in their 9 games. So they were really, really good. The middle of this Giants lineup has been really, really quiet as of late. Matt Chapman has just 3 RBIs in his last 21 games. He's hitless in his last 14 at-bats with runners in scoring position. Willie Adames is just 6 for his last 48. Jung-Hoo Lee is batting just .221 in his last 21 games with only 5 runs scored in that span. So I bring up all those numbers to say, don't let these guys get hot at home today. That's key number 1. Key number 2, limit the hot hitter, and that is Elliot Ramos. We told you about all these guys not swinging the bat well right now. Well, Ramos is the opposite. He's hitting .388 in his last 22 games with 5 home runs and 17 RBIs. Ramos leading off today for the Giants and playing left field, so you got to keep a very close eye on Elliot Ramos. Key number 3, Manny mashing in the Bay. There are numbers to support Manny Machado having a big impact tonight and in this series. Let's start with this. Manny is batting .343 in his last 29 games with 12 extra base hits, 16 RBIs, and 23 runs scored in that stretch. I'll be honest with you, I think Manny's quietly putting together a really, really great season. Other numbers to support this theory that Manny will have a big impact tonight and in this series. Machado has a .371 batting average in his career in 35 at-bats against tonight's Giants starter Logan Webb. Manny has hit nearly .300 in his career at Oracle Park in San Francisco with 27 extra base hits in 55 games in that building. And oh, by the way, the next home run Manny hits will be number 350 in his career. Brings us to key number 4, get the offense going as a unit. Manny has been really good lately, but the rest of the offense, well, it certainly hasn't been clicking altogether for the most part as of late. In the Padres' last 18 games since that 21-run outburst in Colorado on May 10th, how about this? I mean, this is really surprising. Since that 21-run game, the Padres rank last in the majors with a .209 batting average and a .611 OPS. And I'm not trying to pile on the Padres offense, but it is kind of shocking to hear that. So if it feels like they haven't really clicked together lately, got it going together, well, there are numbers there to support that. Again, ranking last in the majors in their last 18 games, hitting .209 and with a .611 OPS. So key number 4, both tonight and in this series on this road trip, get this offense going as a unit, 1 through 9 in the lineup. That's how the Padres will win a lot of games during this difficult stretch of games, and that's a look at our keys to today's game. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a number of games going on around the major leagues. The one final we have. Sound the alarm. The Rockies have won. They beat the Marlins in Miami. A photo on social media. I think there were like 200 people there. Rockies beat the Marlins 6-4. The Rockies finally here on June 2nd pick up their 10th win of the season. So congratulations to the Rocks. They are 10-50 on the year. 6-4. Colorado wins it. Other games going on right now. Tigers beat the White Sox 10-0 in Chicago in the 6th inning. Brewers 3, Reds 2 in the 8th inning right now in Cincinnati. Angels leading the Red Sox at Fenway Park in the 7th inning, 7-5. Other games yet to begin. Twins and the A's in Sacramento at 7:05. Luis Severino on the mound for the A's. Joe Ryan on the mound for Minnesota. And finally, the Mets and the Dodgers in L.A. at 7:10. Start of a 4-game series there. Dustin May on the mound for L.A. Paul Blackburn making his season debut for the Mets against the Dodgers. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Monday. When we come back, we tell you what to watch for in today's game. We take a look at a Giants strength that the Padres are going to have to deal with both tonight and in this series, and a full breakdown of today's starting pitching matchup between Stephen Kolek and Logan Webb. First pitch coming your way at 6:45 right here on the Padres Radio Network. Padres baseball coming up here on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. First pitch at 6:45 for game one of this four-game set in San Francisco. Right-hander Stephen Kolek on the mound. Padres today, right-hander Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants. We'll preview today's starting pitching matchup coming up in just a moment. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. We go up to San Francisco in about 7 minutes with Bob Scanlan and Tony Gwynn Jr. They'll have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. First, let's tell you what to watch for in today's game.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For, presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
How do the Padres handle this Giants bullpen? Here's why. The Giants currently have the lowest bullpen ERA in the major leagues at 2.42, and they've been especially good as of late. A 0.95 ERA as a bullpen in their last 9 games. Camilo Doval has been tremendous in particular. He's in the midst of a stretch of 20 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. So, if the Padres trail as this game gets later, you got to keep in mind the Giants bullpen is really, really good. This is not an easy bullpen to hit. How do the Padres handle that pen here tonight and throughout this series? That's what to watch for in today's game. Let's preview today's starting pitching matchup. It's Kolek against Webb.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Right-hander Stephen Kolek on the mound for the Padres today, 28 years old. So far in 2025, he's 3-1 with a 4.11 ERA in 5 starts, 30 innings in 2/3, 30 hits given up. He struck out 24, walked 10. Had a really fascinating last start against the Marlins. Gave up 6 runs in the first inning, but then settled in to go 5 innings and a third, allowed just those 6 early runs. He retired 14 of the final 17 batters he faced. Kolek saw the Giants quite a bit last season, made 4 relief appearances against them. 3 of those appearances were scoreless. He gave up 2 runs in an inning of work in another. Kolek has been better against righties than lefties this season. Right-handed hitters batting just .228 against him. Lefties batting .288 against him with an .825 OPS. And the lefties in this lineup today for the Giants, Jung-Hoo Lee, Mike Yastrzemski, Lamont Wade Jr., Patrick Bailey, a switch hitter that'll bat left. So 4 out of the 9 today for the Giants are left-handed hitters. Right-hander Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants. So far in 2025, the 28-year-old is 5-5, a 2.82 ERA, 12 starts, 73 innings and a third, 84 strikeouts and 17 walks. Last start against the Tigers, 6 innings, 3 earned runs given up on 7 hits. The start prior against the Royals was his roughest of the season. He allowed 6 runs on 10 hits in just 4 innings against Kansas City. Faced the Padres on April 29th in San Diego. Padres got to him that day. Webb allowed 5 runs on 9 hits in just 5 innings of work. Webb has a career 3.26 ERA against the Padres in 15 outings against them. He's been really good against the Padres at his home ballpark in San Francisco, a 2.34 ERA against the Padres in that building. Webb has also been great against righties. They're batting 238 against them. Lefties are much better, batting 284 against Webb. And that's a look at our starting pitching matchup today. Logan Webb for the Giants and Stephen Kolek, the young right-hander, on the mound for the Padres. As always, we appreciate you listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. Let's set the table one more time for you as we get ready for this series opener. Padres come in a record of 33-24. Giants are 33-26. The Padres enter today in second place in the National League West, 2 games out of first place behind the LA Dodgers. Meanwhile, the Giants sitting a game behind the Padres in third place. Padres have won 3 consecutive series. They won 2 out of 3 against the Braves, Marlins, and Pirates. The Giants return home after going 4-5 on a 9-game road trip to Washington, D.C., Detroit, and Miami. Manny Machado continues to swing the bat well. His last 9 games batting .324 with an 11.04 OPS, 2 doubles, 7 RBIs, 4 home runs, and 7 runs scored in that span. And again, a reminder, the next home run Manny hits will be number 350 in his career, and Manny also closing in on 2,000 career hits. And if you look at the list of guys that have accomplished 2,000 career hits and 350 career home runs before the end of their age 32 season, a lot of Hall of Famers on that list. We'll see what Manny and the Padres do here tonight in this series opener. When we come back, Bob Scanlan, Tony Gwynn Jr. have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.